Okay, we're going to start this afternoon's panel discussion. I'd like to thank you for coming out today. We had a great opening last night. It was a lot of people in attending the opening, and we're all really happy about it. I'm just going to give a brief history of this exhibition and just talk about why we're here in this space at this time. In 2007, Donna McDonald invited me to curate a show. Well, she didn't actually invite me, but she said, do you know anybody who would like to curate a show for this space? And I kind of went, I would. So that's how that came to be. And it was, it was like a great opportunity to bring these artists together and have their work on the wall for people in Hamilton to see. And I think it's great work, and I think it's really a positive reinforcement of what takes place on the reservation, that sometimes people expect certain kinds of representations to come away from Six Nations Indian reservation life. So I think it's really a positive reinforcement in that regards. And these are my 4 favorite artists, though. I'm going to introduce Janice Montoris. She's the Executive Director of the Woodland Centre in Brantford, Ontario, and she's going to be the moderator of the afternoon. So I'll hand this over to Janice.
Thank you, Shelley. I just want to say thank you to Shelley for inviting me to moderate this panel. Of course, at Woodland Cultural Centre, our primary focus is presentation and promotion of our arts, history, and culture. And those terms get interwoven, and people like to deconstruct those terms. And as we say, as it's in our language, we don't have a word for art. It was just part of our everyday lives. It's just what we do. So I'm going to ask the 4 artists here to give us about 15 minutes, I guess, overview of your art and who you are and why you do what you do.
Hello, my name is Brenda Mitten, and I just want to say thank Shelley for inviting me to be a part of this show. It's been years and years since I've been in an art exhibit, so it was a real privilege and honor, and thank you for thinking about me. And it's a privilege to be sitting up here with these other artists. I started photography probably when I was about 15 years old, and most of my work, the photography that I do, is self-taught. Just in recent years, as an adult, I've taken some night courses at Mohawk College, and I photograph everything and anything. It's a fireball game. I think that's really interesting, and there's different stories depending on what community you come from. So I chose this community because they do this every year, so I like to listen to their story. They do it every second weekend of July, and it's played in the Tuscarora Nation, which is another reservation about 10 minutes from Niagara Falls, New York. And the person that told me the story about this, his version is that it's a healing game. They start with a little pouch of tobacco, and as he's making that pouch of tobacco, he's praying because different people have come to him from the community with asking for prayers for their family who are ill or who need help. And then they have strips of white cotton, and they start wrapping that tobacco pouch, and as they're wrapping all those strips, they're praying, saying the prayers for all those people that have come to them before that weekend. And then once it forms a ball, it's probably about this big in diameter. Then they soak it in something like kerosene. I don't think it's kerosene, some kind of oil, and then they light it. But before they play the game, all the players are told before the game starts who has come to them asking for help, so they know who the prayers are for and who they're playing for.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Well, my name's Ellie Dockstader and so Sago, honey. So part of my I'm from Thunder Bay. I went up to go see about a girl, and I ended up there for the past while. But I'm originally from Six Nations in southern Ontario, and kind of moved around all around the southern tip. And so I kind of got to Forrest Gump my way into a lot of stuff. And this is one of the figures that keeps on coming out, and in through a lot of my imagery. And I'm not sure who she is, but these figures keep on coming in as part of a story. And sometimes when I lay out all the work together, I'm not really sure how it all fits together, but it's kind of the tip of your tongue kind of thing, where it's almost giving you an answer, but it still kind of stays elusive. And this is one that's a good one to show kind of the process-oriented stuff, because there's what you can see, what it might be about, what it might mean to me. And then there's the brushwork that's involved, and even the preparation of the canvas. So kind of the whole process thing kind of draws you in. And I invented a word that I use a lot when I'm in the schools. It's called coolification. So if it's not cool, if I don't want to look at it, nobody else is going to want to look at it. So I keep on working on it till it's that awesome that I want to look at it. And so that's where it gets cooled up. So then even when I'm in the schools working with kids, I say, make sure you want to look at it, because if nobody else does, if you don't, nobody else will want to look at it. Well, my mom will like it. I was like, she'll like it better if you like it.
Hello, my name is Tracy Anthony. My pieces are all on the back wall there for those that don't know. I have a really hard time explaining what I do. When people ask me, it's a little easier, but to just talk about it, it's difficult. I've lived on Six Nations and New Credit my whole life. My mom's from New Credit, and my father was from Six Nations, but he's Delaware, so technically he's not Six Nations. So in my works, all three, I try to represent Delaware, Six Nations, and the works from Ojibwe. The pieces here are mostly symbols and taken from wampum belts and the stories from Six Nations. And to give a little background, I'm a screen printer. I do I screen print T-shirts, do vinyl decals to pay the bills, basically. And a lot of what I do is graphic, work-wise, and I think it's been coming out in the paintings that I've been doing lately. And the pieces here, there's a lot of it. When Shelley asked me to be in the show a couple of years ago there, it took us a while to get here, I had just started to work with stencils and doing collage. And the first images I did were the fist with the arrows. There's about 3 of those in the show. And it kind of progressed from there, where I've been working with the oil sticks, just a little bit of everything. It's like an eclectic mix of what interests me. And I liked what Elliot said there, his little coolification thing. To me, if it seems interesting and it looks cool, it's the same thing. Like, image-wise, I don't really sit down and think about themes so much as the actual image. Like I said, I have a hard time talking about my work, so I'm better off when people ask me questions.
Hi. Jay Carey, artist, originally from Six Nations. Grew up in Niagara Falls, New York, predominantly. And as you can see, this monster behind me is my work that I submitted to the show. Originally came from Six Nations. A lot of my influence, of course, was from the streets of Niagara Falls and how I grew up. It's a reflection of a truth, I suppose, as I live it every day. Kind of distanced from Six Nations, but still a kind to it because the rest of my family lives there. A lot of the paintings that I've done are influenced from both my family, of course, and the community that I live in. And also, it's reflective on some of the art training that I went through, my travels also, and of course, my perspective as a human being, I say, first. And I am a human being first before I am a Native person or an artist also. So that's what I kind of center myself on, is just to try to add an element of truth, I suppose, to my artwork, and to be as true to my soul as I possibly could.
Any final words, Shelley? I told her I was going to ask her.
Well, I'm really happy with the show, and one of the things about working with artists is that, you know, it's really great to see artists who love what they do, and that's you know, something that I feed off personally, and so it's I just love being in a space of the work, and that's my final comment.
All right, so thank you everyone for coming out tonight, and Darius will be around for probably a little bit here if you want to ask some questions one-on-one. So thank you.